Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. It's almost spring here in West Michigan. I think it's February 28th today. 27th or 28th. I believe it's, yeah, today's the 28th. Tomorrow's March 1st. I've got this mill just about ready to get back out into the field and start using it. I've got the auto feed just about complete. I just got to make up one or two more connections. That is done. And it seems to be working great. Today, the last thing I'm going to do, I'm going to do a couple of things, but some of the last things I'm going to do, I've got these blade guides all loosened up. I'm going to take these off. I took the bearings out and the bearings were shot, and I will show you those. The bearings live behind the blade guides, and they're very, very easy to change out. And I'm going to paint the top of the bunks. I'm going to give it an oil change and just grease the jacks. And I believe there's a grease fitting up here in the blade guide adjustment. So let's get started on this. I'm going to take this off. I got both of these loosened up right now, and I wrote left and right, so I don't mix them up. So let's get started. Here's what I have here. This is the bearing. I don't know if you can see this bearing. It lives right under there. Hope you can see that. Can you see that? Let's see here. Take a look at that bearing. It is completely shot. There is nothing left of that bearing. So I ordered these bearings several months ago, and there's a gentleman on my page who does sell them, and next time I'm going to go through him. I think his name was Paul Anderson. I'll have to double check that. Is that I think it's just a scratch and not a crack. Let's see. Just a scratch. So I'm going to replace these bearings. So I have some new bearings here, and all they do is just slip over these shoulder bolts here. And they have some washers, a couple of washers they use to make up the spacing. I think I'm going to take these washers and possibly turn them down, because I can see that washer is going to rub on the seal. This washer is bigger than the inside race, and it's going to rub on the seal. So if I can get that washer smaller than that inside race, the outer edge of that inside race, I don't think it's going to rub on that seal. I think that might help it. The one was really bad. So this bearing, so the two bearings, this one still has the seal in it. I can't remember what they spec'd out to be. 17 millimeter maybe? Let me get the mics. I'm going to mic out these old bearings. Ooh. I guess I don't have my mics, but I got my calipers. Michitoyo calipers. So 465. Clear. 0.465 divided by 0.03937 is almost a 12, 11.8 millimeters. So these are 12 millimeter IDs. 1.255. .32 millimeter outside. So these are 12 by 32 millimeter. The thickness, .395 is going to be 10 millimeter, 03937. So 395. These are 12 millimeter ID. The OD is 32 millimeter, and they're 10 millimeter thick. So I do have a matching. I actually have 4 of them. I bought these in the fall. I have 4 of them. So I got a spare. They're very easy to change out. So I'm going to take care of those. And now I'm also going to take care of the blade guides. I have the ceramic blade guides, so let's check those out. I'll be adjusting the inside of those ceramic blade guides. I've got several projects going at one time here. So I'm going to just start by getting this little cleaning. These are 10mm bolts that hold these ceramic blade guides in. So I don't know if you can see that. I have them pushed together. You can see they're worn a little crooked, but that's all right for what we're doing. So I'm going to make them nice and wide to start with. I decided I'm going to. This is steel, so it's not like I'm going to use, it's not like it's aluminum that's going to corrode and oxide on me or oxidize on me and lock these in. But I'm going to put some Never Sees. A little bit of this stuff goes a long ways and it gets everywhere. All right, let's put these on. I'm going to wire wheel these. That one's ready to be installed. Okay, let's get a blade on. One, two, three, four, five. Okay. All right. The middle of the bearing is directly in line with the blade now, perfectly in line. I think it's actually better than it was before. All right, I found this little file that I've been using, and it's exactly 70 thousandths. So they say between a 16th and an 8th. So I'm going to go error on the small side. I'm going to go to the 16th. So I'm going to need like 6 hands here. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to set these guide blocks with 2 sheets of paper. Oh, I like that. So in theory, I have about 10 thousandths total. And that I can see that's about, I'm going to say that's pretty close. I graduated with a mechanical engineering degree and worked in the metal shop worlds for many, many years. Working in the tool and die world, that was a lot of fun. I miss those days. Done a little bit of everything. Hey guys, what side do you prefer your water line on? Left side or right side? First I thought the right side inboard, but I think I'm going to flip it. What do you think? Cool it off before it goes into the ceramics. I'm going to put it right there. I'm going to try that on that side. Maybe that will make a difference. I don't know. Drip on the water. Drip the water before the blade guide. And those bearings right there, you can see I do have a nice little gap behind. That's about 70 thousandths. They're fitting right there. Oh, it's got some. There we go. Pump a little more in there. This mill has sealed bearings, but if you were to have grease fittings, they'd be right back there. There's just a snap ring that holds those bearings in. So everything's sealed on these. They're not going to be expensive bearings. Belt looks good. I just changed that belt last year. They're easy to come by. This one, I still have an extra one for that. So I would say that's all set. You know, that's going to be a problem. I should flip-flop these. These bolts. I have these bolts inboard. I think I better put them outboard, because what's going to happen is I'm going to hit those on a cant and I'm going to snap them off. So I'm going to redo all this, take this apart. I'm not going to show you all that. I just showed you. But I think the wise and prudent thing to do would be put these these bolts on the other side. I don't know if it's tapped for that, but all I have to do, they are. All I would have to do is just flip them around too. Put this one over here and this one over there. And I think I'll just do that. I got the blade guides flipped around. Now the bolts are on the outside. I could have just taken them out and put the bolts on the other side. They do have them threaded on both sides. I just elected to switch them around. I think I have them on the original way now, because the old holes, they're full of crud, and I should probably run a tap down them if I was gonna. Should have run a tap down if I was just gonna flip flop them. So I just took the guides off, switched them over. So now there's no way I'm gonna knock the bolts off with a cant. Now Frontier always said it was 22 inches between guides. You could cut a 22-inch cant. You could always take this off, I suppose, and get a little bigger. Could probably take both of them off, to be honest with you, if you needed to. But I never have measured that to double check. So with what we have there, you could run a 23.5-inch cant in there. So they give us 22. They tell us 22 on the advertisement. But you could run a 23-inch and probably a little bit bigger if you took these guides off. If you were doing 1-inch boards, you couldn't go too high because you'll run into this. So you could run a 5-inch board, 23 inches wide. Now the throat on this is exactly 8 inches. So you can run, I know you can't because I'm sorry, that track behind. So you could only run on this mill about 7 3/8. Got everything greased up. I'll get the oil changed, and this thing's ready to head back out. The belts are in good shape still. I haven't had to adjust it in a while. Ended up getting some wiring loom on. I still have a couple more pieces to put on, and the auto feed is 100% done. All right, guys, I know that's some maintenance I needed to have done. I'm gonna have to stay on top of it a little better. I do have another set of those bearings, like I said. Probably should keep an eye on them every couple of days, probably take a look at them. Those bearings I had were 100% shot. Ceramic guides are still in pretty solid shape. I do, like I said, I had a little bit of taper on, now it's this side. Not bad at all, I see now. Looks pretty good. I set them 6,000s. I ended up, the second time I used feeler gauges instead of paper. It was just easier with the feeler gauges. But everything's set. This mill's ready to go. So guys, hopefully you enjoyed the video. You know, it's not, this video is not going to be for everybody. I'm not selling any lumber, but it shows you kind of what needs to be done if you're buying one of these Frontier mills. There's a couple of groups on Facebook with Frontier mills. I've not had any problems with my mill. I know some people have problems, whether it was customer support and so on. I've never experienced any problems either with customer support, delivery time, or just the integrity of the mill. So the key for me is just making sure I get it all set up. I'm not a business. I'm not doing this for business. I make a few bucks here and there sawing lumber for people, but most of what I do on this mill is for me. It's a little hobby mill. I want to get some steel for some extensions, get that done. And that might happen this spring or this summer yet, but I think it's been a really good mill. Just got to stay on top of it, change your oil, and don't abuse it, right? So, and it should last quite a while. Thanks guys for coming along. You know, subscribe to the channel. It means a lot to us. We're trying to grow the channel, and you know, we're moving pretty good. We're over 600. It'd be cool to get to 1,000 here before summertime. If we do that, it'd be fantastic. So go ahead and help us out and subscribe to the channel. And you guys have a great day and take care. And spring is here, folks. It's 30 degrees in West Michigan. The snow's starting to settle. You guys have a great day. Take care.